Welcome everybody, this is Mr. Fugu and you're watching Mr. Fugu Data Science. As always, the code will be provided in my GitHub, the link will be in the description below. Also, if you like this and would like to watch any of my other videos, feel free at Mr. Fugu Data Science. I provided a reference manual that you should look into if you're looking into NoSQL databases called 7 Databases in 7 Weeks. Now, we will have an objective today of creating a database, creating a collection. We will insert, update, delete, create a JavaScript function for inserting data, and insert a CSV file. We will also run some queries. Now, I'll show you what the data set looks like that I created. It will be a company database where we're taking some generic company names and industries that I made up with real data from Berkeley, California. We will exclude the longitude and latitude, and we're going to just take the street address, the city, and postal code. You could read up on this later. I want to get into this. If you don't have MongoDB, go onto the MongoDB website. You're going to want to get the community version, find the operating system you're using, click on this and just follow the directions. If it's not self-explanatory, try going on YouTube, but I'm not doing a intro into that today. Now, we will first create our database. The database we're going to use today will be called Berkeley. So once you're inside of your So you go into MongoDB, and then you will want to create a database named Berkeley, like this. So you say use Berkeley. Use has two meanings here. One, if you know a database that you are wanting to use, you can say use and it'll go into that database. If you're creating the database, it'll create the database, but it won't show up until it's populated. So we can say, let's show our databases and see what we have. I created Berkeley already, but for you, you'll just do use and then Berkeley. It's the same as me entering it, the same as creating it. So it's really easy. Then we could find out what collections we have. For you, it should be empty. But that's easy for me because all I do is I can get rid of this collection. And think of a collection, and we can run this again, and it's empty. Think of a collection as if you're using a table such as a relational database. All right? Now, we can insert. So we would call db.collection name, our table name, and here it's going to be business, and then we're going to insert. So let's try this as an example. So I have this little example. We could cut and we could paste this directly in. So I'm saying, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Basically, we're saying db.business insert and then a name for a business, the business that we're talking about, the specific industry, the attribute for that industry, number, which is like a street number, and then street, city, and postal code. Now we have one inserted. Well, let's find out. Well, where is it? Well, we say db.business, and you could just put the B in a tab. Then let's find it. Perfect. If you pay attention, we have an ID. All right, that ID is kind of like your primary key if you're thinking about Postgres or MySQL. You have this unique identifier, right? And that identifier is comprised of 12 bits. Your first three are a timestamp. Then you have your machine ID, the client process ID, and then incremental counter. Alright, that's what comprises this. Now, you could insert 1, like we just did. We could do a find, like we just did, where you could provide optional arguments. You could do a find 1. We only have 1 in here now, so it's only going to print 1. Okay, so we could do db.business.find1. It's only going to print out what we have, but this is what it looks like. You can do a insert many. And if you pay attention, MongoDB uses JavaScript as its native language, so we have the same type of methods and formatting, alright? So this insert many, and show that that actually works. So we have db.insert many, and then if you notice, we have a list set up like the brackets, and then we start with our curly braces and throw everything in and separated by a comma. So we do that. Now we just acknowledge that we set this up and we inserted it, and here's our 2 unique IDs that are with this. So we could do db dot and then business dot find and this count. We should have 3, right? We have 3. Okay, cool. Now there's everything that we have. We could do find 1. So we did the first one. It's the first one that we got right here. Perfect. So we have Mr. Fugu Clothing. We have Mr. Giovanni. We have our little Senor Taco. Okay, cool. So we could insert 1. We could insert many. We could find 1. We could find all of them. Alright. You also have help options. This is really good to know if you're using any form of language. So db.help, find all the methods that are available, and you get everything that's available. Alright, you could do db.help without the parenthesis, and then that is printing off the common methods that are available for the db object. Alright, you could also do db dot and then our collection name and then help, and find out what methods are available for that. So here's all the methods that we have available for our business. Okay, cool. We could also use JavaScript functions that we create, and you could, for instance, we're going to create this function and send data. So I have this function here. I'm calling it insertbusinesses.js, where we're creating a function. The function is called insertbusinesses. We're taking the names, industry, number, street, city, postal code. We're going to insert it into our business collection. Here's our key value pairs, where we're calling it our name. We're taking this name and importing it into here. Alright, remember this is JavaScript formatting, so your braces are very important, okay? Very important. So pay attention to that. So this is what we create. You have 2 options here. Alright, when you're creating this JavaScript file, there's a few things you need to notice. 1, if you're unfamiliar with JavaScript, do not start creating functions and playing around with this. You could have undesired results later. 2, you could directly cut and paste this into the shell. You could just take this as it is like this, cut and paste, and deliver it into MongoDB, where we're right here. Or you could do what we're going to do, and you could do a load, and you load your file. As long as this file is in the directory of where you're working from. This is on my desktop. This file is on my desktop, and I logged into MongoDB from a desktop. So then I say this, load this bad boy, and true. Perfect. Now we got this thing loaded up so we can use it. Start jamming out. Now, before you get any further, let's do something. So let's make sure we remember real quick how many items we have. We have 3 items, right? But let's insert one into from our business. So we're taking our business function and we're ordering these in the order that was in our function. So our company name, then our industry, and then our number, like our street number, and then the street, the city, and the postal code. Okay, well, did that do anything? It did. Okay. Let's look. Okay, cool. Well, that's what we just did right here. Mr. Fugu Data Science. Right here, Mr. Fugu Data Science. Perfect. So just appended this to the end. All right. That's wonderful. So now we could create JavaScripts to do whatever desired results. For instance, here we're inserting into our table or collection. Then if we're running queries, I created a short little table just as a reference material. It's not an extensive list, where it shows the operators that are available to run your queries. So when you're running an empty bracket like this, all right, what it's doing is it's just calling everything. So you just do db dot and then business, and then we find, and then you just find everything. Okay, then you can call a specific ID, an object ID, if you know it on hand. So we say, all right, let's just pluck one off just to show that this works. So we'll just take this one, cut and paste, and there we go. So you can prove that you can call by your specific ID. You could also add separate parameters in here. So we go back and we could say, let's create our name and let's call it equal to true and see what happens. Well, you're outputting just the name and the object ID. Well, that's interesting, isn't that? Okay. Well, what if you want something else? What if you want postcode equals 1? But there you go. Now we just added these, so you have a filtering, which is awesome. Well, then what happens if you say, well, what if I actually wanted to change this to like 0? Uh-oh. What happened here? Okay, 0 error message projection cannot mix of inclusion and exclusion. Uh-oh. So I did a boo-boo right there, didn't I? So what happens here? There we are. So we're printing off everything except for our name. Okay, so our filtering is starting to look pretty cool. So we could do some ad hoc queries. All right, let's find a business that starts with the first letter being an M. We're excluding the ID. We're keeping postal code and name. Check what this looks like. Alrighty. So we're keeping the name and the postal code, excluding everything else. So we have 3 businesses. Let's start with the first letter being M, and we're keeping the postal code. Okay, cool. What about if we want to do a little bit of a range with our first letter being an M? So we're taking a range of postal codes where our first letter equals M, and we're keeping the name and the postal code and seeing what that looks like. Okay, cool. So we have within our range 2 of these businesses. Perfect. Now, let's use an all, matching all values query. Let's see what that ends up giving me and what's really going on there. So if I could actually copy this thing. So we're finding a business where you get all the postal codes that are this. But since we only have a few examples, it's not really, explaining much. And then you're saying, let's exclude the ID, take the name, industry, and postal code. Okay. What are the postal codes? Let's find out. Maybe I'm out of the range. db dot business dot find. Okay, so what are my postal codes? Okay, so obviously this is wrong because this would be right when we import all the data, but it's wrong now. So let's pluck this one out to make sure it works. So let's do this. Perfect. So if there were more within this, I had this same exact postal code, it would print out more. We could run this after we import our file next. So now we want to import a CSV into Mongo. So we go like this, and look at this. I executed this before I entered MongoDB. I have one terminal with MongoDB. This is how I set my machine up. And then a separate one where I run the command, where I run this command. Okay, so let's get out of here with Control C, and then I paste this in, and I'm saying Mongo import type, which is the format, the file format. So this could be like .csv, .png, whatever, and then we're saying -d, where we're saying what database are we going into, and then we're saying, okay, what's this C? We're going into the collection, which is business, and we're keeping the header, which is the first line of our file, which is going to be our field names, and then we're dropping the database if it exists. You don't have to do this, but for this we're going to do it, and then we're just basically repopulating. So we run this and we say, okay, connected, localhost, it dropped what we had, and now it imported the new document successfully. Okay, cool. Now let's go into Mongo. Alright, and let's show, well, you don't need to do this, but show DBs. Alright, cool. Let's use our Berkeley. Alright, cool. Now let's show collections. Okay, perfect. Now db dot business dot find dot count. It already told us above. Let it imported 500, but just to show you, we got 500. So just go and run that. Let's run this, and let's change it back to what it was before. We should be able to find more than one. I think it was like 702 or something like that. Let's look. What did it say? 74070. Okay, it's running through 500 entries. Or is it? No? Yes? No? Let's find out. Ready? I don't know if this is running. I don't. Come on there, Mongo. Are you working or are you not working? Well, this is looking. Let's go up here and investigate. 94704, 94710. Let's do this because I know there's a couple, just in case. Not sure if Mongo's having a hiccup or what's going on. Maybe there's none in that. Let's find out. Maybe not. Or maybe. Let's investigate this. Okay, so it does need to stay like that. When we had it before, let's go back and look. Did it print out beforehand before we logged out? All, nothing. Why is Mongo not being my friend? Got to think about what's going on there. Anyway. Then, that'll be the end of this video. Next video, we will start doing nested data. That's the whole jive of MongoDB, because you're dealing with JavaScript objects. Therefore, you're going to have nested dictionary type of situations. And that's where Mongo really does good. So basically, the formatting would be you're starting with your outer part and you're doing dot and then calling the inner part and then whatever thing you're looking for. Nevertheless, not sure what's going on here, why this didn't populate. Something's wrong here, I guess. With whatever I did. I don't know why. I don't know why. Really got me worried. Maybe it's thinking of running this. Just takes a second, maybe, I don't really know. But nevertheless, that's the end of this video. Throw a thumbs up if you liked the video, and if you didn't, please leave a comment and tell me what I could do to make this better before you leave a, thumbs down. If you subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and as always, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.